Welcome, 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 welcome. Welcome to another Money Talk this Friday. As you can hear the music, you hear the vibes, you know what time it is. Yes. Today we're going to talk about a lot of things. Hey, I just want to tell you guys, happy TGIF. Like I always tell you guys, you got to think, grow intelligently, fast. Can't be just on a Friday. You got to think, grow intelligently, fast every day. Right? TGIF. Yes. That's another pun. Guys, I'm super excited to come on this morning to talk to you guys a little bit more about how money works. This week, we've been talking about a wealth formula. You guys have been learning about why money plus time, plus or minus rate of return, minus inflation, minus tax, and how that equals wealth, right? So today, I have the pleasure, as you know, Fridays is when we talk about the plan. What is the plan, right? What is the goal and the plan? Because everything in life, and I want you guys to hear this, everything in life requires a goal with a plan. And if you have a goal, right, and you don't have a plan, you would never reach that goal. Or better yet, what's the use to have a plan without a goal? Doesn't make sense, right? You have the plan to execute something. What are you going to execute? What is your goal? What is your target? What you're aiming at? If you never have something to aim at, you will always hit nothing, right? If you never have a target or something to aim at, you'll always hit nothing, right? So it's the same thing in finance. Many of us, aspire to become financially free. We aim to be wealthy. We aim to hit a certain plateau inside of our finance, but what's the plan? What's the plan to do so? How are you going to do so? And if you don't have that plan, well, today I'm going to share with you how to not only have a financial, goal, but also a plan. So let's talk about the plan, all right? Let's talk about the plan this morning. How does the plan work? What is this plan about? Why do we call it a plan? Because having a financial plan is so important. You can't wake up every day and say, oh, I'm going to become financially free today and I'm going to be doing blah. Guys, all it is just unnecessary air coming into the universe. It's like going through one ear and coming out the other. You really got to have a plan. So here's the thing, and let's talk about this. I personally believe, all right? You don't have to believe me, but I personally believe that everyone needs to have a strong financial foundation. Everybody needs to have a strong financial foundation. Everybody. Because if you don't have a strong financial foundation, then you'll never know the 4 steps to financial freedom. Right? What are the 4 steps to financial freedom? What is freedom? Why do we speak of such words? Freedom. Do you know what freedom is? I know many of you speak about freedom. You say, oh, you want to be free, or you may even think that you're already free. But for real, are you free? Are you truly free? Can you be honest with yourself? Are you free? Freedom is when you never have to wake up and have to worry about money. Freedom is when you don't have to clock in on someone else's employment area or your job and you know you're good. That's freedom, right? That is freedom. Freedom is Warren Buffett's lifestyle. I know a lot of people say, well, I don't aspire to become wealthy. I don't want to be wealthy. I don't need to be wealthy to be happy. Money don't make me happy. I love when people say that. I love when people say, I don't need money to be happy. Because all you're telling me is that you never had no money. Because I tell you, there was a time where I had money. And what? I don't care what nobody said. Money can buy happiness. Because when I used to be tired of Jersey, I would jump on a plane and I'd be in Canada in Halifax. But is money all that it is? No, that's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that money does make your life better. Okay? Money does make life better. Money makes the food better. Money makes everything better. It's just that if you don't have money, you settle. You settle. You settle for what you can afford. So that's why I said that every last one of us wants to be wealthy. Or better yet, I used to say to folks that every one of us is wealthy, right? We're all wealthy. Come on now, we're all wealthy. We have the greatest thing called life. That's the greatest wealth. So we're all wealthy. But the problem is, the wealth that we currently have, is not the wealth that we truly desire. The lifestyle that we live in today is not the lifestyle that you wanted. It's just the lifestyle you can afford. Many of us is living lifestyle that we can afford, but it's not the lifestyle that you want. If you be honest with yourself, I'm pretty sure you agree with me right now. So we all settled. We all settle at one point in our life, but the real question is, can you stay hungry? Can you stay hungry? Can you stay hungry? And I dare you to dream bigger. I dare you to go after your dreams. I dare you to seek more. I dare you to think that you're better than where you are. I dare you to go seek either being a millionaire or billionaire or whatever. I dare you to think bigger. I dare you to dream bigger. I dare you to take massive action. I dare you to think, to make you start thinking of yourself as a bigger, better person. I dare you to think big. I dare you to dream big. Because if you truly want to build a strong financial foundation, then I dare you to put together protection first in your household. I dare you. Because what I do for families, when I sit down with them, I teach them how to put together this proper protection, because there's 3 things that will happen to you in your life that you can never plan for. 3. And these 3 things is that you can't predict when you're going to die. You can't predict when you're going to have a health problem. You can't predict when you're going to become disabled. So if you can't predict when these 3 things going to happen to you, then why don't you have something in place? Now, what are the 4 things you must have in place if you prematurely die? If you prematurely die, you must have life insurance, final expense insurance, will, and a trust. You must have these 4 things. If you have health problems, you better know the difference between your HMO and PPO insurance. And you better know what kind of coverage your health insurance give you. You got to know, what is your deductible? Is it high? Is it low? You got to know, what is your copay? You better know these things. Don't just say, I have health insurance. Know what kind of health insurance you have. So that way you don't get hit with massive bills later on. I'm telling you, I've seen it happen. And it's not right. How about disability? When it comes to disability, do you have long-term care? I know most of you are thinking, well, I'm young, Keon. Why would I need disability? Why would I need long-term care? I'm young. Nothing's going to happen to me. Really now? You could predict the future. Can you also tell me the lotto numbers so I could go buy some today? You are one accident away from becoming disabled. You are one accident away from dying. You are one doctor visit away from having health problems. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And the question is, are you prepared for that? Are you prepared for that? How about debt management? This is what I also help families to do. I teach families how to reduce their debts and eliminate them. But you also got to know how to manage your debt. What we mean by debt management, we mean that if you have a mortgage, you have a car note, you have your student loans, you already have all these different debts. Do you know how to pay them off the right way? So we teach you a debt roll-up program. We show you how to eliminate your debts with a simple debt elimination strategy without consolidation and bankruptcy, because we know that these two things will actually mess up your credit if you bankrupt or consolidate your debt. So we don't want that to be for you. How about the next thing I help families with? How to create an emergency fund. Now, creating that emergency fund is so important, guys. Creating that emergency fund is so important because having an emergency fund, okay, having an emergency fund is really, really important, because the reason why it's important because of this here, guys. If you don't have an emergency fund, right? If you don't have an emergency fund, you know what you're pretty much saying? You're saying that I am vulnerable to all things that can happen to me. And you want to know what could happen to you? This very thing here. The thing that could happen to you guys is that you, my friends, will be a victim of life. We've all seen what COVID-19 have done to many people where that wasn't prepared for this. And because they weren't prepared, they became victims of life. Now, the question is, what I do is that I help families to have 3 to 6 months of their income. I teach them how to live on a budget. And it's important for families to learn how to live on a budget. Many of you think you're living on a budget already. You're so far off. All you're doing is tracking spending. But we don't want you to track spending. We want you to live on a budget. Because if you live on a budget, then it makes it easier for you to start winning the money game. But the next thing we help families with, I help families with, is that I help them to learn how to invest. We teach families how to invest their money. Because when it comes to investment, yes, it's a long-term thing. You can't be an emotional investor. You can't want to be an investor today and you want to pull out your money tomorrow. That's not how it works, guys. You know, I heard one of my fellow campaigners in our company, he said that his mother would buy high and sell low. That's majority of the American people today. Many people, when it comes to investment, you buy high and you sell low, because every time the market, fluctuates or it corrects itself, you sell. And you sell when you feel like you're gonna, oh, I'm losing, I'm selling. You're selling low. Or you want to buy when you hear everybody talking about it. Oh my God, I gotta buy. So you buy high. See, guys, we gotta see the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is that you need to learn what is your risk tolerance. You gotta know the difference between a conservative, a moderate growth, and aggressive. What is your risk tolerance? You got to know what is your tax tolerance. What are your tax tolerance? You know, are you the type that want to put your money where you get taxed now, tax later, or tax advantage? And what does it mean? What it means to be taxed now? It means that your money's taxable. What it means to have, you know, tax later, money's tax deferred. What does tax advantage really means? It means that your money is, you know, you don't get taxed. It's tax-free money when you need it. See, guys, what society have taught you is that society have taught you how to invest your money first. And because society taught you how to invest your money first, you use your credit cards as your emergency funds. And because you use your credit card as an emergency fund, it puts you in debt. And because you're in debt, you don't have the extra funds to put together protection for you and your family. That's the reason why many people today live paycheck to paycheck, or they don't have the proper protection that they need in place, where they may have life insurance, final expense, but they still don't have a will nor a trust. Or maybe they still don't even have long-term care in place yet. But yet still, you could pay $500 a month towards your debt every month, religiously, without even looking. And debt has become a way of life where you now think it's okay to be paying $500 a month towards your debts. How did you get tricked into this mindset? I know how we got tricked, but I'm trying to lift the veil over your eyes right now to wake you up. Like a lot of people say, oh, I'm woke. No, you need to be awakened. You can't be woke, you got to be awakened, right? So if that's the goal is to create a financial foundation, then you must understand how money works. This is the plan. This is the plan. I just told you the goal. Now, here's how we help you to understand how money works. This is the plan. This is what we teach you, the wealth formula. The formula says money plus time plus or minus rate of return minus inflation minus tax, that equals wealth. That's why we're going to have a money talk today. This is the plan. We got to talk about this because here's the plan. I'm going to give you a simple plan. I'm not going to go too deep on you. I'm just going to go simple. Listen to this theory. In order to find the money, you got to learn how to pay yourself first. You got to pay yourself first. What if you were able to pay yourself first? 5 to 10%, 15% or more. What if you could save that, right? Did you know that with time, right? Because we all know that time is money, right? But procrastination is the enemy of savings. Do not be a procrastinator. You will lose the money game being that person. But let's say that you took advantage of time, right? You were able to save 5 to 10% of your income. And let's say that 5 to 10% of your income is, say that's $10 a day you're saving. And you were able to save $300 a month, right? And let's say that the time that you gave that $300 a month was 30 years, right? You gave it 30 years time. So let's say that you got an average rate of return, right? Because it says plus or minus rate of return. Let's say that you gave it the average rate of return and you got an average rate of return of 8%. Did you know over the next 30 years, that $300 a month with a 30 years of time and a rate of return of 8%, that would have grew to actually $447,000+ over a 30-year period. That would have given you your wealth, right? That would have given you the wealth. But here's the factor that we didn't consider. We didn't consider, well, what about inflation? What about tax? How would this have an effect on that $447,000+? Would that be enough? So I have a rule of thumb where I said, whatever you think you're going to need in today's day, times that by 2. If you think you're going to need $5,000 a month based on what the cost of living is today, and you want this money in your retirement years, which is like, 10, 20 years from now, times that by 2. So if you say 5,000, think 20,000. So instead of saving $10 a day, but you want to keep up with inflation, what if you were able to save $20 a day, right? Same 30 years, time. You want the money back. You got an average rate of return of, let's say, 8%. Now with inflation, right? Let me tell you how inflation works now. Let's say with inflation, let's say that you wanted let's say $4,000. You wanted the $4,000 coming in now, right? You saved up all this money and you're planning for $4,000 as an income in monthly income now, right? Now, think about this. Think about the fact that, 20 years later, right? You already planned for this. I want 4,000 coming in a month. 20 years later, right? With inflation being 3%, right? 3% inflation rate. Did you know that you would need $7,224 per month to have the same buying power? So even though you may have $500,000 or close to it, how far would that $7,224 last when you were only planning for $4,000 per month? And then here's another catch. How is it going to be taxed? Even though you build up the wealth, you build up that $447,000+. How is it going to be taxed? It's going to be taxed now, taxed later, or tax advantage. So it depends on where you build that wealth. Are you going to build that wealth into your stocks, your mutual funds, and money market funds, in your savings account, in CDs? You will be paying taxes on the gains and the withdrawal. So that $400,000+ is not even $400,000+ anymore, because you're getting taxed on if it earned or if you take withdrawals, if you put it in a taxable bracket. What if you put it in a tax deferred bracket? Okay, that money grew to the $447,000+. But now they're going to tax you as ordinary income on every withdrawal. Now they're going to tax you on every withdrawal. Every withdrawal moving forward. Now, can you predict what taxes will be in the future? You don't know if it's going to be high, it's going to be low. So now you're paying taxes at a time on every withdrawal, and you'll be taxed as ordinary income. Well, what about if you put it in a tax advantage bracket? You put it in a tax advantage bracket. What does that mean for your money? Tax advantage bracket means that now you won't have to pay any taxes on every withdrawal moving forward. You see, guys, that's why we say money plus time plus or minus rate of return minus inflation minus tax, that equals wealth. So wherever you see the minus, you want to put a plus. Everywhere you see the minus, you want to put a plus, guys. And that's why the wealth formula is a great guide. It's a great guide. You see, many of us today still don't understand why you must use the wealth formula as a guide or a plan. So what I want to do is I want to tell you about an event that I encourage you to come to. You see, our financial literacy classes is for everybody. you're invited. You are invited. But you got to ask yourself this question, and I ask you it. Are you open to learning more? Are you open to learning more? Or do you think you know it already? You think you heard it too many times? You think you understand it? Okay, cool. Let's say that you do. My question is, why you're not implementing it? Why are you still not implementing it? Why are you still not using it? Why are you still not wealthy? Right? You have to implement things. Because remember, procrastination is the enemy of savings. Come and learn the 4 steps to financial freedom. We host these classes every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sundays at 10 a.m., 12 p.m., and 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Use our Zoom information. If you can't log into Zoom, call in. Listen, right? So that way you could learn. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in today. And like I said, today, 10 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Eastern Time, and 12 p.m. Eastern Time today, 6 p.m. Eastern Time today, we will be hosting 4 steps to financial freedom. So you too could get the knowledge to empower yourself and others that's around you. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in today. My name is Keon Corniff, also known as Mr. Finance. And like I always said, you're one decision away from changing your future for the better. So always remember, the choice is always yours. Thank you guys. Have a blessed day.